Podcast City Network. You're listening to the Everett Lee Show.
No, I am not going to rob a bank, y'all. Welcome to the Everett Lee Show podcast. I am Bane. Well, actually, I'm Everett Lee. You're probably wondering why I'm wearing this here, but let me tell you here in a minute after I give a shout out to everyone that follows me on social media and, of course, Podcast City Network, the official host of the Everett Lee Show podcast. The reason why I'm wearing this right here is that a company that makes face mask, these right here, these high durable face mask, a company called T&D Company. You can find their group on Facebook. So if you're on Facebook right now, I know you are because you're watching me, go ahead and search T&D Company and you'll be able to join the group and get one of these masks here. And they got quite a bit of masks here to give out at $5 a pop. And for more information, call 386-882-8705 to find out more and how you can get a hold of these durable face masks. But please, if you need them, there you go, man. There you go, these durable face masks. But let's roll into this podcast tonight here, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight on the podcast, I have none other than host of M.I.W. Rasslin Rage, Cody Fleming. How you doing there?
Hey, how's it going, brother? Hanging in there. Just still locked. Well, I wouldn't say we're locked up, but I'm still in the house. How's that for you?
Yeah, me too. Me too. Let me get this mask off here, man. I'm already sweating now.
Yeah, right on. Well, I mean, hey, you got 6 feet of distance. You know, I would say we got 6 foot, and I think we're okay.
Yeah. Pretty good. I think what we're doing, everyone that has a show or anything they do where they can't have guests on now, they're pretty much doing what we're doing here, and
yeah,
they're doing really good. They're doing really good with this COVID-19 thing. I mean, how you holding up there up in Michigan there with the COVID-19?
It's pretty crazy actually up here. I've never experienced anything in my lifetime like this, and I mean, even now, like you go to, I don't know about down there if you guys have M.I.W, but our big box store is M.I.W, and it's really, everything is taped off and it's X's on the floor showing 6 foot distances, and I mean, they're counting people as they're coming in the door. It's kind of insane, man. Damn.
Yeah, it's insane here in Daytona Beach. I mean, in Florida, we're on lockdown, but you would not notice that with everyone, all the traffic and stuff going around still. You would not.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you would not notice that with everything going around. You wouldn't think there was a lockdown on, but man, things are going to be looking up. I have high hopes with everything.
Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there. Mm-hmm. I'm looking forward to getting back to watching wrestling, and I don't mean watching wrestling on TV because we got wrestling on TV, but I'm a huge fan of independent wrestling, and I follow a lot of the independents here, and that's why I have a show about independent wrestling, is because I'm just a huge fan of independent wrestling. So I can't wait to go see a live show, independent wrestling, and yell and boo and do those things. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I am too. And I'm looking forward to get back out there and see some independent wrestling from great independent promotions that I know of that's down here in Daytona Beach. But I mentioned Michigan. You up in Michigan there. Did you grow up there in Michigan, or where'd you grow up at?
Yeah, born and raised Michigan. I'm actually from a town called Marysville, Michigan. It's about 65 miles northeast of Detroit City.
Oh, nice.
I'm up in what they call the thumb. And everybody in Michigan, they always show you the mitten. They always say, hey, I'm from right here. You know what I mean? And that's where I'm from. That's right there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I grew up here, and I've been here most of my life, man.
Oh, okay. Okay. Now, did growing up there in Michigan, did when did you get into wrestling? When did you first start watching wrestling? What's your early memories of watching wrestling? Getting into that.
Saturday mornings, WWF, watching, Brutus the Barber Beefcake, Hulk Hogan, Macho Man, Scary Sherry, the whole Sergeant Slaughter. I grew up during the years of the cartoon, with Hulk Hogan and all them guys, and it was wrestling was on, and then the cartoon. And those are my early memories. And I even remember, Shawn Michaels, putting Marty Jannetty through the window at the barbershop, all that stuff. That's what I grew up with, and that's most of my early memories is then.
Oh yeah, the barbershop, man. I love that. I
Yeah.
love Heenan on that. I love that. If I remember, it was Gorilla Monsoon or Jesse on commentary with Bobby the Brain, and they said, look at Marty, look what happened to Jannetty, and Bobby's like, yeah, look at that coward, he jumped through the window.
Yeah,
I love that.
I actually twisted back some toddies with Marty Jannetty at a show one time. He's a character.
Nice. I can imagine, man. I can imagine. But don't you? If you look at the Rockers and when they went through what they did and they broke up, and look at Shawn, how he took off, and then Jannetty was the other guy though, but he had a pretty good career. I mean, he had
for sure.
He had some pretty good matches and stuff though, but he didn't take off like Shawn Michaels did. But
no,
I mean, you gotta love the Rockers, man. You gotta love those.
Oh yeah. They were one of my favorite tag teams when I was a kid. Obviously, LOD would be another one, but loved the Rockers. And I was really sad when they did break up. As a kid, obviously, it was really, really real. And I loved the Rockers, the high flying action. I've always been a fan of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I loved the Rockers. I loved LOD, those guys in Demolition.
Yeah.
I was just a kid. Demolition Man was like freaky and scary.
Yeah.
It's like you never seen anything like that before. My brother,
no,
he was a big LOD Demolition fan. He liked Brian Blair and the Killer Bees. He loved that. He loved that.
Absolutely.
But now during the Attitude Era, okay. Monday Night Wars. Were you more WWE, WWF, or WCW?
WCW. Guarantee it. Hand down, WCW. I mean, there was guys. I had a whole group of friends and we would meet every Monday night, and we would watch. It would be either at his house, my house, somebody else's house. We were always watching Nitro every night. Every night.
Oh, nice.
Yep. Guarantee it.
I would go back and forth like everybody else. I mentioned this a few times on the show. I would go back and forth and watch. I'd watch first hour Nitro, then flip over to WWF, watch that, and then have WCW recorded, and then the next day go back and watch WCW, watch the last part of 2 hours of Nitro. But were you a NWO fan? Were you too sweet?
Yeah, absolutely, bro.
Yeah.
Absolutely. How could you not? I actually really didn't even start really getting into the NWO until the Wolfpack formed, when they went to the Red and Nash separated off into his own thing with Scott Hall and the Red and Black, and that's when I kind of got into NWO. Was around that time. I was more, people get mad or say because Goldberg isn't a whatever, but back then I was a huge Goldberg fan because back then it was cool because he came out, kicked somebody's butt, and then he left and he didn't say anything, and that was it. That's why I liked Goldberg. It wasn't about the fact that I could see a 20-minute match with the guy. I just liked the fact that he didn't talk schmack. He come out, he wrestled, and he left. Everybody else is coming out there for 20 minutes and talking in the ring, and then maybe hit a super kick and it's over.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I liked Goldberg. Yeah, he'd come out there and get squashed. admired how an opponent would come out there. I can beat Goldberg. I can beat him. Get out here. Goldberg come out there. Boom. Spear, jackhammer. Boom. 1, 2, 3, and walk off. I love that. I mean, they built him up like that. They definitely built him up like that. I was a big Sting fan. I loved Sting. I loved Sting back in the early days when he had the bleach blonde hair and the makeup.
Surfer Sting?
Yeah, Surfer Sting. I remember watching that. My brother was a big Sting fan. He was a big Luger and Sting fan, and he would watch. I would watch that with him, watch Sting battle and stuff. And then I love the transformation of Sting during that time, because he came with that dark character and didn't say nothing, coming down from the rafters, man.
That was amazing stuff right then too.
Yeah, that was amazing. And then, of course, when he it was a shock when he joined NWO Wolfpack, but I mean, you kind of didn't know where he was at on the fences there. And then when he joined NWO Wolfpack and he had the red face paint on, I have the action figure of Sting still with the NWO Wolfpack Sting. I have that, man. I have it boxed up there, and I have the Sting where the 2-pack of him and Hollywood Hogan when he won the World Heavyweight title at Starrcade. I think it was 98. Yeah.
That's good stuff right there, buddy.
Yeah, some collectabilia right there.
Yeah, I have a it's a Sting Hall of Fame that they did for Mattel through the Target special limited edition. I got it. He signed it. I paid for it, obviously, but that's up there signed.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Behind me, I got a Jim Cornette WWF action figure I found at a wrestling event. I met Jim Cornette a couple years ago at that wrestling event in Orlando, and I met Cornette, got his autograph, got it hanging up on the wall over there, and they were selling some merchandise. And Jim Cornette was sticking up right there, and I said to the guy, I said, "No one's bought that?" He said, "No." I was like, "The guy standing right there, how could you not buy that?" I'm like, "How much, man?" And so he threw a price out. I threw a price out, and then he threw a price out and said, "I'll give you a badass Billy Gunn figure." I said, "Sold." So I went back over there. And I had him sign it, man. And Jim Cornette, I was like, "Mr. Cornette, I hate to bother you again. Could you sign this?" He's like, "Okay." And he's like, "God damn." He's like, "They got me on the fucking clearance aisle right there for Canadian Toy Store still." And then Thrasher. Thrasher from the Headbangers comes over, and he looks, and he goes, "Damn, Cornette." He's like, "You're pretty swollen there in that package there." Figure. And Cornette looked at him. He's like, "Motherfucker, I'll tell you what." It was great. Stuff. It was great just
absolutely, bro.
Having him sign that and just meeting him and just having that. But one day I'm going to do an episode where I'm going to pull out all my collectabilia that I have with wrestling and show it off here. What I have that I've got boxed away with a lot of different other things too. I mean, I got so much shit though, but it's good to have. It's good to have. Oh yeah. Just to have your collection.
Yeah, I got way more than what's up behind me here, but I just don't have. There's work to be done, sir. Yeah. Let's put it that way. There's work to be done.
Yeah, your collection there and your pictures and everything is just it's good to have some collectability,
a lot of money there.
Yeah, and it's it's good. I mean, one day if you really get desperate and you're down to it, you do what what's his name, Steve Carell did in the 40-Year-Old Virgin. It's like sell it. I mean, but other than that, it's staying right there. It ain't going nowhere.
Yeah. Well, I've had a lot of other toys in my life too that I've got rid of too. I had some Lego Star Wars stuff that was worth a bit of money, and Funko Pops, and I got rid of it all. I was just like, I don't need it anymore. I'm strictly wrestling collecting now.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. I like it.
Right.
Being up there in Michigan, where you're at with enjoying the independent wrestling scene up there. What independent promotions are in the area that you live in, and what promotions would you recommend anyone to check out that's up there in Michigan?
Well, first of all, you say Michigan, and you can't even say the word Michigan without putting XI in wrestling, independent wrestling, without saying XICW. You can't do it. It's not possible. XICW is the longest running promotion in the state. They've been 19 years. It's ran by Malcolm Monroe II, who is the son of Sweet Daddy Malcolm Monroe, who used to work for the Sheik during the territory days, back in the old days when the Sheik used to run the Northwest Territory. But anyways, XICW, I don't recommend you bring your 5-year-old to XICW. There's definitely some F-bombs and MFers and anything else you want to get on there, right? But XICW, if you haven't been to an XICW show, you have not experienced independent wrestling. That is my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. Also, Blue Water Championship Wrestling. They've ran for a while. They haven't been around for a couple months now because there was a death in the family and things like that. But right. I got some firm knowledge, or some good knowledge that there's some things in the works, and it's going to be making a return here very shortly. And then also BCWA, which is Blue Collar Wrestling Alliance, who M.I.W. and is a sponsor of M.I.W. and Rasslin Rage, but is also an organization that we were invited to, my co-hosts and I, and we go there to all their shows, and we're allowed to set up, and we do basically, I guess you could say it's kind of like live commentary on some of their stuff, but not really. It's just us being fans and watching and listening, and and it's just us having reactions. And then Pro Wrestling All-Stars of Detroit, great promotion. They run out of a nice little place there in Play Atlantis, it's called. I forget what city it's in Melvindale, I believe. But another one, Metro Pro Wrestling. There's so many. Tri-City Wrestling. They're all great promotions, man. I can't say enough about the Michigan independent wrestling scene here. There's other ones that I haven't been to, but I hear Mr. Chainsaw Pro Wrestling is amazing up there, ran by Mikey Zero. I hear those guys are just putting on a stellar show up there. Capital Pro Wrestling out in Lansing. I hear those guys are doing some good stuff too. We got them. It's all over the place, man. And I was talking to somebody the other day about Michigan in general with independent wrestling, and I think we're on a bubble, is what I like to say, where there's an independent wrestling bubble going on in the state of Michigan. There is some hot talent up here, and I think if you're not paying attention, you better start, because these boys are good, and girls, these boys and girls are going to make a whole lot of noise. I guarantee it. I'm putting money on it right now.
Nice. That's like Florida here. Florida has a lot of promotions and some really good promotions. You got promotions out west. You got promotions in Central Florida. I know out in Tampa, I can't think of any of the promotions off the top of my head. I know there's a few out there. Orlando, you have, of course. I mean, you got WWE with the NXT, but independently, you got M.I.W. out in Orlando, and then you have. It's Atomic Revolutionary Entertainment wrestling down in Cocoa, and then there's some promotions down south towards Miami, up north towards Jacksonville, and just so many around here too. There's just so much independent wrestling, and I've said this before, and I'll say it again: if you can't find an independent wrestling promotion where you live, you're not looking. You're not.
Yeah, you're not looking. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. You're not. No. Yeah. You're not.
I actually have a friend down there in Orlando that wrestles. He wrestles at ACW, American Combat Wrestling.
Okay.
Yeah, in WWN. His name's Mark Ross. He was going by Aquabra, but he's changed his name to his name, so he's now going by Mark Ross. So definitely check him out if you get the chance, man.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna have to now. I'm definitely gonna have
absolutely.
to. I'm definitely gonna have to. I love what you do. I've checked out your podcast. I checked out what you do with Rasslin Rage, M.I.W. Rasslin Rage, and I love the last 2 episodes I watched. It's really good. I love your co-host that join you on the program, and it's really great. Now, how did that all start for Cody Fleming? How did this all start for you? How you started with doing M.I.W. Rasslin Rage? I want to know how this all fell into place here.
So it was like 2+ years ago, something like that. My cousin actually is the promoter for Blue Water Championship Wrestling.
Okay.
And I knew he had ran independent wrestling before, and I had always been a fan and just kind of like, periodically poked my head in and out and never really stuck in wrestling for a long period of time, I guess you could say. And he started running again. He started doing his shows, and I got enthralled in the whole thing. And I never really realized how much independent wrestling was in my own state. Like, I was just totally blind to it. Seriously, like blind. So it started off with a vision of, I want to bring I myself, and I was kind of naive at the time, but I wanted to help bring independent wrestling to people that never had seen independent wrestling before.
Right.
I originally started out talking about the Fed, NXT and all that stuff, as well as independent wrestling, and not just Michigan independent wrestling, but Evolve and all those independent organizations. And I reached out to a friend of mine and I said, listen, I got an idea. I'm a talker. You like wrestling. Let's do this. And so we did it, and it worked out for a while. And him and I kind of had, I guess you could say, creative differences.
Mm-hmm.
And he got future endeavored, and I went solo for a while, and I started doing different hosts. That worked for a while, and I had an idea. Well, not I, but a group of guys had an idea. And I don't know about down in Florida, but up here in Michigan, there's no one place to go to find shows. Like, it's like scattered throughout all over social media, like, and you're lucky if you can find them, right?
Yeah.
So there comes Michigan Independent Weekly. We made a show to give people the information to attend independent wrestling in the state of Michigan. So Danny and Josh, who are my co-hosts on that show, we travel all over the state, going all different independent wrestling. And Josh is a real funny dude.
Mm-hmm.
He's hilarious, absolutely hilarious. I don't say this enough, but I absolutely, and say everyone, I love those two dudes, man, for real. Those are some of my best friends. And Danny Beals, he's that real deal heel. Danny Beals, he's the mouthpiece, man. He's the bad guy, man.
Yeah.
And everybody that seen Michigan Independent Weekly was like, dude, I really like you guys together. You guys do really well together. You guys got a great chemistry together. And I was like, I think it's time to bring on these guys on to Rasslin Rage too. So we did. And now things are getting hot and heavy. And I mean that, it's getting real busy real quick for us. And I'm not trying to be cocky or anything like that, but things are starting to happen for us, and it's moving real fast, and I'm just trying to slow it down.
Yeah.
I don't mean that in a bad way, but I really am just trying to. Things are starting to move fast. Thank goodness for this pandemic, and I mean that in a big, nice way, because I'm just trying to catch my bearings, man. Working a 9 to 5 plus home life plus everything else. I'm thankful. Trust me on that one. I am very thankful for it. But it started out with a vision, and it turned into a whole nother thing and added to something else. And I've made some of the best friendships I could possibly make in life because of Rasslin Rage and Michigan Independent Weekly, and more so because of Michigan Independent Wrestling. I can't tell you I've made some of the greatest friends from this. I met a gentleman by the name of Greg Caton. I'm going to give him a shout out, Mr. Caton there. I would have never met Greg if it wasn't for professional wrestling. And he's turned into one of my best friends. Same with Josh and Danny Beals. Both those gentlemen I met because of professional wrestling. And that's one of the things that draws me to professional wrestling, is this community that we have and these people that are there watching our backs. If I fall, Danny Beals is there to lift me up. If Danny Beals falls, Josh is there to pick him up, and so on and so forth. It's an amazing thing, man.
Nice. I love that, man. I love that. I love how you're letting people know about what's going on with independent wrestling there, and that to me, that's what separates. When I watch your show, I'm learning about and what's going on with independent wrestling in Michigan. I have no idea, but as the more I listen to you, the more I get drawn into what you're doing and knowing what's out there. And yeah, you do talk briefly about WWE or AEW and stuff, but you keep it real with talking about the local independent scene there, and I love that. Because you're keeping people informed. You're letting them know, hey, it's instead of watch, you can go here to a WWE event or AEW, one of the big promotions. It's like once you come to the right here in your own backyard and get the best entertainment value with independent wrestlers, workers working their butts off and putting on a 10 times even better show. And just I love that. I love that.
XICW is a great example of that. XICW puts on a show pretty much every month. They have their Proving Ground series, Wrestling with a Vet. We're a vet, and they have 8 vets, or excuse me, 6 vets, 8 vets, 8 rookies, as they're called. They can be rookies. They can have 8 years in the business, but if they've never wrestled for XICW, they're a rookie.
Yeah.
The rookies pick vets, and they have tag teams, and they face off against each other. And at the end of the season, there's only one tag team left, and they win, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they become the Proving Ground champions.
Nice.
And you just never know. You're going to pay $15 for a front row ticket, and you just never know if Mike Elgin walks out, or if one of the Chris brothers walks out, or you just never know, because we're just that close to Ohio, and we're just that close to Toronto for Impact Wrestling, or Windsor. You just never know who's going to show up. And I give another shout out: the current Proving Ground champion, XICW Proving Ground champion, the Suplex Shogun, Jackson Stone, is the Gut Check Impact champion. He won the Gut Check and has now won a contract for Impact Wrestling.
Nice.
I interviewed him. It's up on YouTube. I've interviewed him several times. And SICW, he's a Michigan boy, man. He's in Impact now. You just never know. He's a current champ.
Yeah. Nice. I like that. I like that, man. Having your show, doing a podcast. What are some of the ups and downs have you experienced? I know you've had some good and bad with trying to run a podcast, man. What are some crazy stuff that's happened to you trying to run a show here? Because I've run in still, after all these years doing the Everett Lee show, I still run into technical difficulties. This takes a shit, that fucks up, and it's like, damn, goddamn,
Well, right. I absolutely do know. Well, first off, I want to say when we started this whole show, and I've talked about this on numerous occasions.
Yeah.
I started on a 720p webcam with no microphone, using the microphone through the webcam.
Damn.
And on YouTube, you know what I'm saying? And it sounded like we were in a tunnel. It sucked. But, and it progressively got better. It progressively got better, and I mean, audio has always been the thing to kick me in the dinky.
Yeah.
It's always audio. Something's always messing around on my audio. That's one thing. Going from, I don't know what you're running for audio, but I use a mixer. I have a USB mixer, and I got multiple ports out. I'm running 4 mics. Well, not right now. I'm running 1, but usually we're running 3 to 4 mics. So going through the USB. From the DC to 8, all that stuff, it's all pain in my butt. Yeah, there's that. But one of the things is I always haters, right? That's a con. Haters.
Yeah.
One of the negative things is haters.
Yeah, the haters.
But in the end, for people always are. I try to separate myself from that stuff and just like not listen to it. Yeah. Sometimes it's hard, but if a lot of times people are like, oh, did you hear what so and so said? I don't care, dude. I don't really want to hear. I don't want to know. The less I know, the better.
Yeah.
And that way it doesn't get in there. And I just, whatever. But time. Not having enough time.
Yeah.
Not having enough time to do everything. Because I don't know about you, but if you're anything like me, you have creative juices running through your brain like nonstop.
Oh, yeah.
And you have to keep a notebook and you have to do all kinds of things. And there's only so much time in a day, and you can only manage yourself within that 24 hours. And figuring being able to do everything that you want to do in 24 hours, drives me insane.
Yeah.
But I'll say that, again, it goes back to the community we talked about, right? The people that I've met. The people that I've met and now are some of my best friends because of professional wrestling. That's one of the best things. That's the pros of this. But I've also learned skills from this. It's another pro. I didn't know anything about video editing when I started this.
Yeah.
Nothing. And I'm still not. I'm not saying I'm a pro. Hey, WWE ain't knocking at the door today, but especially now after all them layoffs. But hey, I didn't know anything about that. I didn't know anything about YouTube. I didn't know anything. I mean, I have a business degree, but I didn't know anything about, social networking, social marketing. I didn't know anything about graphic design. I didn't know, all these skills I'm picking up because I have to do this for YouTube or any kind of promoting, like promoting myself,
right,
promoting the channel, promoting the pod, all that stuff. These are all skills that I'm picking up. So even if I fall straight on my face, which is absolutely okay, I'm learning something while it happens, and I can use that to do something else at a different time.
Yeah, I go through the same thing. I definitely go through the same thing with being creative, trying to come up with really good conversation, good questions to ask. I don't want to repeat myself. Sometimes I do. That's the con with it, and of course the technicality with everything that's going on with trying to make yourself and improve yourself better each time as you do this, because people look at and say, wow, look what he's doing this time. Look what he's doing. He's doing something different than what he's done that time. And then just having guests on, that's another thing that I scratch my head there and just look, and it's like you have like a board up, almost just imaginally you have a board up and you got all these guests that you want to get a hold of, and you're sitting there and it's like you take a dart and it's like, which one am I going to get today in contact? Sometimes
and hopefully they respond.
Yeah. Hopefully they respond. Yeah, that's right, the thing. Yeah. Hopefully they get back with you. And most of the time they do. Most of the time they do get back with me, because as of tonight, 181 episodes. That's right awesome, there, man. That right there tells you how many people get back to me and want to come on and just talk and have a candid conversation on here. And that's one of the things having guests on, which it gets nerve-wracking there, because you don't know, first time guest. A returning guest, that's easy, because it's like, hey, what's up, man? It's like, let's
established relationship.
Yeah, let's drink a cold one, man. What the hell you been doing? It's like, it's like, what the hell are you posting there on social media there? I mean, you had me rolling, man. Good conversation. Just trying to come up with the good stuff, and just the topics and everything you try to come up with. You collaborate. You have two really good co-hosts there, and do you guys collaborate and say, hey, you throw ideas at each other every once in a while and say, hey, let's talk about this is going on, let's mention this? Do you ever have that kind of conversation there with your two co-hosts?
It's for me, so I'm kind of like, they call me the boss, because I'm the boss, and I mean that, and I'm not trying to be a dink, but that's just the way I am. A little background: I'm a second-degree black belt in Tang Soo Do. I taught in martial arts for a few years, but anyways, it's a military style, and I'm not saying I boss them around or anything like that, but like, and I'll say, okay, so this is where we're at, this is what we need to do, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Let's come up with some ideas, let's brainstorm, and then we'll throw some things out in a chat, or we'll do a video chat like this, and we'll like sit here and we'll talk, and we do that with when we write a show. We'll sit down, we'll do a video. Right now we'll do a video chat because we can't be at each other's house, obviously, but or when they're here, they'll sit here and we'll sit there and we'll talk and we'll say, okay, let's do this. And then I'll bounce something off of Josh, and Josh will be like, yeah, let's write it this way and do it that way. And we write things down, but that doesn't necessarily mean that's how we're going to do it. It's just to keep our minds where we need to go.
Yeah.
So that we don't get too far off track, because between the three of us, we could turn an hour show into 3-4 hours if we really wanted to,
right.
Get on some topic with something,
Mm-hmm. That's amazing that you have really two good friends and that collaborate with you on ideas and just throw some stuff around, because there's so much to talk about in the world of wrestling. It's just everything that goes on.
Real quick, Josh there, that he's really creative. He doesn't give himself nearly as much credit as he should, but he is a very creative person, and I keep telling him, he's so funny. I keep telling him, I'm like, hey bro, you're so funny. You need to write about a half-hour set, and you need to go do like an open mic night somewhere, dude.
Nice.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But there's that, and he's got his own company now. He runs his own, he makes his own ice cream, and he's selling ice cream. And not only that, he's incorporated wrestling into that, because he's got local indie guys that he's made flavors based upon their characters and then names them after them.
No way.
Like this. Yeah, absolutely, dude.
Dude, that's amazing. I like
It's
that.
awesome. Yeah, the wrestlers love him, right? And then they love his ice cream is what they love. But so he's got that going on. And then right now he's doing this thing. It's kind of like a mutual thing between his company, Happy Harper Ice Cream, and our thing with Rasslin Rage and M.I.W. But right now he's doing the cream of the crop, where he's doing a whole profiles of Michigan independent wrestlers. He sent them out questionnaires, they answered questions, and he's creating a whole graphic with their picture and all that stuff with all their answers and stuff.
Nice.
Really cool stuff. He's learning on his own how to do graphic design. So, man, big shout out to him, man. He needs to give himself a big pat on the shoulder.
Nice. That's amazing, man. That's amazing. It reminds you back in the day of the WWE ice cream. Remember that? The ice cream bars?
Yes. Yes, we keep trying to tell them.
Yeah. Yeah. CM Punk tried to bring them back, though, but they said, fuck that. We'll go with New Day.
Yeah. Yeah, New Day. Well, because they're selling, right? They're selling.
Yeah. There is. But I bet you that if CM Punk was still in WWE, just hypothetically just thinking, and he would have sold more ice cream bars. Punk ice cream bars.
Yeah. I think you're right, though. Yeah. Absolutely.
He probably would have. With the current state of wrestling right now with the COVID-19, but just in general, what are your thoughts about wrestling right now? I mean, we'll take it like this: before COVID-19 hit, and then during this thing that's going on right now. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, as far as the major feds go, I'm going to be perfectly honest, to tell everybody, I don't pay a lot of attention to WWE anymore. Mm-hmm. And, I'm not mad or upset or, oh, screw WWE. I'm not that, whatever. It's just, I'm not interested in the product anymore. It doesn't do anything for me. There are certain matches that I go back and watch because I'm interested. Mm-hmm. But WWE just doesn't do it for me anymore. I do like AEW, but I'm not, I don't watch it every Wednesday. I'm not like, oh my God, I gotta watch AEW, right? But I am when XICW puts on a show. I'm online trying to buy tickets as soon as they come out because they sell out that quick. That's where I am at. I'm not interested in the TV product anymore. Not maybe Impact, but I'm more interested in the independent. I'm more interested in the personal experience that you get at an independent wrestling show.
Yeah.
In Michigan, I mean, I've only been to one show outside of Michigan on the independent scene. And it was in Indiana. UWF, I think it was, United Wrestling Front or something like that. But as far as the state, I think we're in a great spot for wrestling, because even if you don't like WWE, you have Impact. And maybe you don't like Impact, you got M.I.W. And if you don't like M.I.W., you got AEW. And if you don't like AEW, you got ROH. And if the list keeps going and going and going and going and going. And when's the last time that you could turn on most cable networks, and wrestling's on pretty much every day now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And not so much anymore, but you were getting a taste of a lot of Japanese wrestling on American television for a while as well. So, yes. I mean, there's not a lot to be upset about. And then on the independent front, you got independent wrestling TV out there online that you can subscribe to and download and watch independent wrestling from all over the place. And one of those promotions are Horror Slam, that's right out of here in Michigan, Deathmatch Wrestling down there in Lincoln Park. You can catch them on independent wrestling TV as well. But, and they're going to be on Fight TV in a couple months if we ever get back to wrestling.
Nice. Yeah.
But yeah, I believe we're in a great spot, because if there's something for everybody. If you like high flying wrestling, well, there's this. If you like this, you like a bunch of big guys, well, you're going to go over here. There's something for everybody. There really is. And if you're still upset, if you're a wrestling fan and you're still mad about something, it ain't the wrestling world. It's you, brother. It's you, and you need to get fixed.
I agree. There's so much stuff that you can watch. It's at your fingertips now. It's not like the days. Remember the stories about your friend had a VHS tape of wrestling, and they made a copy. They'd give you a copy, and that's how the stuff got circulated around back.
Yeah.
You only read stuff in the magazines, like
trading tapes, man.
Yeah.
Traded tapes
Was the thing, man. And now you just jump on a computer and you search, you Google, you search whatever it is you need to find, and bam, there you go. You have it right there. You have it right there.
It's amazing stuff, man.
It is. I'm looking. I'm like you. Here in the last 2 months, I've deviated away a lot from WWE, and I'm looking at different things around me to find out what's out there, because I know there's a lot of things out there, and I'm kind of going back on my own advice. If you can't find anything independent wrestling, you're not looking. So I'm looking, and I feel like a kid in a candy store. There's so much stuff out there. It's like, where the hell do I start at?
Yeah, once you find it, you don't know when to stop.
Yeah, exactly. It's like your crack, man. It's like your crack. It's like you're walking around the corner there. It's like, hey, man. What you want for that 8-ball?
Right. Well, and I was telling you about my friend that's down there in Florida. So, and I really try to keep track of a lot of his matches down there, and watching stuff. I have to wait usually to the next day when he posts his match or whatever. But there's another guy down there, and I don't know if he's in Florida or Alabama area, but Nolan Edwards. I don't know. I know he's down there somewhere, but I'm not sure where. But if you can catch that guy, definitely do that. Nolan Edwards, man.
Nolan Edwards, I believe I've had him on before.
I bet you have.
Back a few years ago, I've actually had him on. During my double-digit episode days, I believe I had him on episode 98 or 99, right around that time.
Good kid, man.
Yeah. Chattanooga. That's probably where, around the Chattanooga area there, Tennessee area there. They got some good wrestling. I haven't really checked out there. I found out what's crazy, man, is I found out that there was a wrestling promotion right around the corner, not even like 5 minutes from where I used to live at up in Tennessee, just right down the road there. I was like,
Oh yeah.
yeah, I was like, really? And they just started, and I said to myself, I said, if I still lived in the same spot, and I would be going. I definitely would be going. I actually found them on. Thank God for Wrestling on Facebook Live group. You ever heard of that?
Yeah. Oh, sure have.
Yeah, that group right there. I don't even know where to start, Cody. Going through all the stuff. There's so much shit on there, man.
Yeah, that's
so
ran by Phil Stamper.
Yeah, there's so much stuff on there. My good friend of mine, Robin Nelson, who has Wrestle Popcast here on Podcast C Network.
Yeah, I know him. I know exactly who that dude is.
Yeah, he puts his episodes on there. I asked him one day, I said, dude, they don't mind you putting your podcast episodes on there, because I know they put wrestling promotions, events, and promos and stuff. He's like, no, they're pretty cool about it. I'm like, really? I want to try, but then I'm afraid it's yeah.
You should.
Yeah.
Go out there. I put mine up there.
Do you? Do you put yours up there?
Oh yeah. Every day, everything. Oh yeah.
Damn, I'm gonna have to put every Lee show up on there now.
There you go. Put it in there.
Yeah,
that's good stuff. Phil's a good guy, man.
Yeah, I love what he's done with the group, because there's so much stuff on there. One day I was scrolling through there. I was spending about an hour, almost a couple hours, just scrolling through there, looking at stuff, and looking at the promos. And I said to myself, I said, God dang, where the hell do I start? I'd love to get some of the talent that's on there on the show. It's like, hey man, you want to come on, talk wrestling? Come on, and just do that. But it's ridiculous how much.
There's a lot.
There's so much content out there.
Oh yeah. Well, you can almost. I almost worry sometimes about maybe there's too much. Sometimes, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like we talked about. It's a great time because there's all this wrestling, but I almost wonder if maybe there's going to be that time where everybody kind of gets burnt out,
mm-hmm.
you know, and then it kind of dies off a little bit. And I worry about that because there is so much. So it's like a double-edged sword. You know, it's like, oh yeah, wrestling. Too much. Right? Yeah.
I believe you can get burnt out. I did that one day. I went on a thing and I started watching, like, when the WWE Network first came out. Oh shit, I went on there and I hit up all the stuff that I used to watch there. The first thing I watched on the WWE Network was Austin beat the shit out of McMahon in the hospital with a bedpan. Never gets old. Never gets old, man.
No.
Never gets old. That's
the Vince McMahon getting his ass beat anytime never gets old, in my opinion.
Nah. And then going back watching Austin, looking at McMahon giving him his first stunner, and he's like, well, hell, you could kiss my ass. Boom! Drop the stunner on his ass, man. And in ECW, for like a whole day, I was off from work, and Cody, I pulled up and watched shit just nonstop. And then my wife was like, wow, there's so much stuff on here. I was like, yeah, there is. And then all of a sudden it was like NXT. I'm like, oh, I'm marking out there like NXT. I'm like, I've heard of it. I never seen it. I know it's on Hulu, but fuck that. We got it right here. And so watched it on there, man. And that's, fell in love watching that right there, getting hooked on that, and just all the content and everything on there. And I burnt myself out after one day. I was like, oh my God, I gotta watch something else here.
Yeah, you gotta take a break every once in a while.
Yeah, you got to. And here being at home, and being with the 6.6 million that's signed up for unemployment, I've been occupying my time, putting content out with Everett Lee Show and doing stuff for Podcasting Network has been really great, because just keeping my mind busy with that during this COVID-19 thing. And also I've been able to catch up watching TV shows. And I don't know, are you into Marvel or DC Comics? Or are you a fan?
Well, I grew up DC.
Uh-huh.
All right, so I read a lot of DC coming up as a kid.
Yeah.
But as I grow a little older and Marvel took over the world, I grew to watch a lot of Marvel movies. Not a lot of comics that I read, but I watched a lot of the movies.
Yeah. I never did finish watching the Marvel, the Netflix original Marvel shows like Jessica Jones,
me neither.
Daredevil. So earlier today, I watched. I got on there and I started finishing up watching episodes of season 2 of Iron Fist because I'm trying to go through the rounds because I've not had time to do that. And since I have a little bit of downtime here and there, I said to myself, I'm going to go back and try to catch up on this because the first seasons of all those shows that came out, I love that. The Defenders, I was blown away with the Defenders. But now when they came out with their second seasons, just a few months ago, I finally finished season 2 of Luke Cage. So I said, I'm going to move on to Iron Fist and finish up season 2 there. And it's like last night, I'm sitting there scrolling through, trying to look at stuff on Netflix, and I'm like, what am I gonna watch? And all of a sudden I seen Terminator Salvation. And I said, fuck it, I'm gonna watch Christian Bale. I'm gonna watch Christian Bale battle of fucking Terminators, man. Because I went to the theaters and seen that when it first came out. I loved it, and I was just so excited by it as I was when I first watched it. So I'm sitting there last night watching Christian Bale, what are you? This is John Connor. You are the resistance. It's like, fuck yeah, I just watch, pull something up and watch, entertain myself. But just trying to find something busy to watch and stuff. I'm sure during this thing, you're also trying to. I mean, we talked about at the top of the program how you're handling things. What other things are you getting yourself into during this lockdown, staying at home?
Well, I have a honey-do list, so
I'm right there with you.
There's that. But one of those things on the honey-do list was to get my wife a new bed. So obviously that benefits me as well. But we purchased a new bed, and then we had, you purchase a new bed, and then you got to get a new ceiling fan, and then you got to install that. And then, it's never easy as it is when it came out, when you put it back up or put a new one up, it's because they got to modify something and, whatever. But anyways, but getting stuff done that I haven't been able to get done because of, working, a normal job or what have you, and kids and all that other stuff. Doing that, I had like the first week that I was off of work, because I've been off of work since the 19th of last month there.
Yeah.
And but I've been doing that. I've been like the first week I was off, I really didn't do anything because I thought I was going to go back to work, and then things got a little different, and so then I just started doing whatever I could, and then now I'm just like, okay, now I need to find stuff to do. So then I've been playing Call of Duty too. I've been shooting people on a video game, of course. Let me disclaimer: I do not shoot people in real life. On a video game, on Call of Duty, Modern Warfare. That's it. But and then spending a lot of time with my youngest more than my oldest, because my oldest is 18 and he's got a VR headset in his bedroom, and he lives in that world now.
Yeah.
So
like Ready Player One.
Yeah. So I don't see him much often. But my 5-year-old, he's in that stage right now where he wants to play every video game, but he doesn't know how to play every video game yet, and he's not able to read. So yeah, he's in that interesting time of video game playing. So he wants to play Minecraft right now too, and I'm like, I don't even know anything about Minecraft. What is Minecraft? Let me shoot somebody. And then, then the wife's like, oh yeah, you can't let my 5-year-old shoot somebody.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, just basic old chores. Mm-hmm. Trying to not go out as much as possible.
Yeah.
If I have to go somewhere, it's like living up in the UP of, where it's like, I know, you're in Florida, you're not you, but the UP, it's like when you go somewhere, it's like you're going somewhere all day when you go shopping, because it's like you're prepping for World War III,
Yeah.
So, and that's what I try to do, just go out and make a whole day of it and then be done with it, for weeks. But other than that, that's really it, man.
Yeah. I've been busy with stuff around the house. I've got to do a couple things I've not been able to do. I got this nice white trim around my house here in my living room that goes around where I'm at right now and then out to the kitchen just right around the corner there. And I started cleaning the trim. I mean, I have those stone tile floors. I cleaned those.
I was gonna say, it sounds like you have nothing to do then.
Well, when I got furloughed, my wife's like, "Well, you're not gonna be on that computer all damn day." I said, "No." I said, "Well, I'm gonna keep myself still on the same schedule because if I throw myself off, then when I do go back to work, it's like, oh God, it's like, how do I adjust? Because you train your body to get up, go to sleep at certain times. So I'm still trying to lingering, still staying on the same schedule, getting up in the morning, fixing coffee, let the dog out, come sit down on a computer, check out what's going on, check email, update anything with Podcasting Network, put out there anything I'm doing with the episodes, put content out, spend a couple hours on the computer, done. Okay. All right, what do I do? Okay, let's clean the floors, let's mop them. So doing that, clean up around the house there, and then I was like, I'm going to clean the trim. That's something I have not been able to get to with everything. So I got there and I started to clean the trim. My 3-year-old, she came in there and like, "What you doing, Daddy?" I'm like, "Hey, you ever clean trim on the baseboard?" I'm like, "Here, hold these paper towels for Daddy. We're going to show you how to clean." Yeah, she jumped.
Kids to work.
Yeah, she jumped right in there with me, man. She ripping off paper towel, every once in a while I hand it. He's like, "Here you go, Daddy. Here you go, Daddy." I'm like, "Thank you, sweetie." Cleaning away. She went around, followed me all day. It's like, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" And just she jumped right in there. And then her shelf, I made a mistake here. I feel bad. My wife pointed out today, man. One of her shelves, she could reach up there where where her TV is and where the fire stick is, and she's watching Disney Plus, so she tried to get the thing and she knocked loose the shelf, and it's like, shit. So I have to get in there with the drill and I had to drill it back in. So I had to remove the shelf. So I did that and everything. I picked up my drill, did everything, set it down, and then put everything like it was, and I left. Okay. Today she's like, "Hey, I noticed there's like these 2 holes in the wall here." And I was like, "What?" And she said, "You left the drill in here, didn't you?" I said, "Yeah, I noticed I left it in here and I took it out." She's like, "Well, look." And I'm looking at the wall and I was like, "Oh shit." So my daughter picked up the drill.
That's great.
Yeah. She drilling holes in the freaking wall, man. And I was like, shit. I said, "Sweetie." I said, "Sweetie, did you drill those holes in the wall?" "Yes, Daddy, I did it."
That's great. But it's the beauty of having kids, man.
Yeah, it's the beauty. It's a beauty. Every time I pull up, if I go back and replay episode of Everett Lee Show, I played on my TV there on my Fire Stick or here on the computer. My daughter walks in and sees it. She says, "That's Daddy." I was like, yeah. I was like, she knows Daddy, man. She definitely does.
Yeah, my 5-year-old's kind of like that. We just got a new theme song for M.I.W. So we have Rasslin Rage is on Sundays, and then we have M.I.W on Tuesdays, and so there's 2 theme songs, obviously. And I hired this gentleman out of Ohio, Tony was his name, and Mo Better Beats, by the way. If anybody would like to hire him, check him out because he makes some awesome tracks. But he did that, and now my son, because he walks around the house and he's rapping our song. It's awesome, dude. It's cool.
I love your song. I love the song for Rasslin Rage. When I was sitting there waiting when I pulled it up, and just the beginning there, I love the effects where it says like show starting soon, and then you got Paul Bearer, you got Ric Flair and a Macho Man, and you got the song playing and stuff, and especially when the show starts there, your entrance, man, it's like bam in your face. It's like you're in for something great.
Actually, what's cool about that song is it's written and the whole thing is written and composed by Mikey Ruckus, who works for AEW now. He didn't work for AEW when I paid him, but
really?
He does. Yeah, he works for AEW now. He did a lot of guys' intro because he was all over social media as far as picking up work to do intro songs for wrestlers. He did a lot of guys up here in Michigan. I know that, and I paid him to do me. He actually did 2 songs for me. He had a rap kind of song that he did, and then he did that one, and then this new one's from Tony Bauer, because Mike isn't doing any work because he works for AEW now. So
yeah, that's amazing.
Not a bad gig. Not a bad gig.
No, not at all, man. Not at all. That's pretty amazing there. I like that. I like that, man. So, I mean, I knew barely little of him, but I didn't know he was all over social media there before AEW signed him.
Oh yeah, I remember when just before he got the big deal with AEW, like, because he got. I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you. It wasn't like they just noticed him and they were like, oh, Mikey Ruckus, whatever. No, like he put on this big old social media blitz thing that he did where he had people that he had did work for tag AEW on Twitter and just like bombard them with information and stuff, and it led to him getting hired.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was awesome, dude, because I went in there and I did a thing for him. He had me. I just went in there. I mean, like, I'm not really that important or anything like that, but I was like, dude, this guy's a review, but on AEW's Twitter. I was like, this guy's amazing, does great work, blah 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 blah. If you want to check it out, here's this song, bam,
Oh, nice.
But yeah, it was cool, and that's what led to him getting that gig. Not me specifically. I'm not saying I did, but like him doing that whole thing on social media is what led to it.
Okay. Because I know one person who when they first started out, he ended up he was trying to go through the communication channel there, getting in contact with a lot of people that was involved in AEW when it first started out, like Billy Gunn and a lot of other names, and he ended up I think he did get a hold of Cody, or Cody heard what he did for him, and that was Hurricane JJ McGuire. You know who JJ McGuire is, the guy who did the wrestling themes back with Jimmy Hart during the Federation years. Yeah, he tried. He put his hat in there. He put his name in the hat there and wanted to jump back and doing some music collaborations. He created a theme for Cody, and I talked to JJ probably maybe once or twice a week. We have some really good conversation, and he was telling me about it, and he let me hear what the song that he did. And I was like, dude, that's amazing. And he's like, yeah, I'm trying to get a hold of Cody. I'm trying to get a hold of him because I like to do something. Because he didn't know at that time until it was announced who was doing the music for AEW. And then he contacted me. He's like, oh, they found someone. And I was like, yeah, I seen that. And he's like, damn. Yeah. And he's like, I still like to do something with them. And he went on and on about it though, but he never did mention anything else if anything was said or done. But the theme he did for Cody, it was almost like almost a throwback to his father, Common Man, but more up to date, like sound to that. I don't know how to explain it though, but it was amazing.
I remember watching the match that he was in, Cody. It was when Wrestle Circus was still going out of Texas there. I'm not sure if you're familiar with them, but they were streaming on Twitch. They would do their shows they'd stream them live on Twitch for free. And, Tessa Blanchard was over there. There was a bunch of them over there, but Nick Cage and all them. But anyways, Cody wrestled. I forget who he wrestled. But after the match, it was a fundraiser show. They were donating all the money to some animal shelter there in Texas, right there where they were running that show. And Cody took his boots off and auctioned his boots off after the match.
Really?
And then donated all the money to that fundraiser.
Wow.
And they were the boots, and he said these are the boots that he was wearing when he won the NWA title.
No way, man.
Yeah, dude, that's amazing, bro.
That is that's amazing. That's amazing. Yeah. That Cody, he's if you look at his career, he's had a damn interesting career because starting out doing WWE and being the son of the American dream and doing everything he did there, and then him saying, you know what, fuck this, I don't need you guys, and then leaving, and then it's like, okay, where do I start? What do I do now with myself? And he's looking, okay, these people are wrestling, go to the independent wrestling scene. And someone that goes from a big company and then goes and hits the independent circuit and starts having great matches with a lot of great talent on the independent circuit that's well known, and then just showing that it's like, you don't need this, you can make it by doing this. And when he first started getting out there, and then when he started going in with ROH, I loved it when he was in ROH, when New Japan ROH there, because when he was with world heavyweight champion for ROH, I went to see him down in Fort Lauderdale. Him and when the Bucks and Christopher Daniels and Frankie Kazarian, all the people, a lot of the talent you see on AEW was still in ROH,
right?
And just being there watching that show, that was just amazing. And even when they ended the show, the main event, I think it was Jay Lethal, Dalton Castle, and someone else with Kenny Omega and the Bucks, the Elite. And at the end of the show there, Cody came out and they basically did like an encore. And at the end of it, when Cody got out of the ring, he went around the whole barricade taking selfies, signing autographs with everyone until
that's cool.
He left. It's like he did not leave. He didn't get out and just exit and said, hey, he went around and met everyone and, shook hands, hugged, took selfies, and just with all the fans. And
yeah, that's really cool.
That is, and and I had a different kind of respect for him now. After that, I was like, you know what, that is class act right there. That shows he cares about the fans that come to and sees him and sees what he does. Absolutely. Yeah.
Good dude.
Yeah, I just love what he's done and where he's gone with the promotion and just everything. I mean,
where it's went to where it is now. Holy smokes.
Yeah. Because I kind of relate a little bit to my father. My father passed away in 2012. He passed away with prostate cancer, but growing up, I used to watch wrestling with him. And he was a big Dusty Rhodes fan. He was Dusty Rhodes fan, and he about destroyed a bunch of TVs that we've had because when Ric Flair come on, that guy come up and cuss and yell at the TV. And he's like wanting Dusty to whip the Four Horsemen's ass. He couldn't stand Ric Flair, man. This guy was just American dream all on through and stuff. And a while back ago, a memory came up. For some reason, I was looking at wrestling, pulling up stuff on YouTube, and I decided to pull up the old stuff with like Four Horsemen and Dusty Rhodes. I came upon a video on there where Dusty got jumped by the Four Horsemen. He got jumped by Ole Anderson, Tully, and J.J. Dillon, and it was great. And it was almost like real life because if someone was walking by, they would have called the cops, man. They Four Horsemen, 2 cars pull up behind Dusty in a parking lot and they start beating him down. You probably might remember this or seen it. They tied Dusty up to a truck and Tully comes over. He's on crutches. His legs broke. He comes out there, and they're shoving the crutch in his stomach, and then they're beating him up with 2x4s, and Dusty's all tied up, almost like being crucified there, and they're beating his ass like right there in the middle of daylight, out in the middle of like the, you know. It's
right.
And I was like, this shit's real. And I was like, I remember seeing this as a kid. I remember the old man is like hollering. He's like, you son of a bitches, you don't do that to Dusty. You don't do that to Dusty. You know, standing up at the TV and like cussing at the TV and just throwing stuff at the TV. My brother's like, oh God, come on. It's like, what, man? And he's like, no, Dad's going to destroy the TV. Get out of the room. Yeah. It's going out.
It's hard to cuss at the TV nowadays, man.
It is, man.
It's hard to. I was telling one of my co-hosts, Danny, there, I listen. I haven't watched the second day of WrestleMania yet. That tells you something, right? You know, I've only watched like 3 or 4 matches from day one. One of those matches was KO and
Rollins.
Seth Rollins. Sorry.
Yeah.
And that was a good match. And I found myself in that match. And I've always said with KO, I've always liked KO, Steen, whatever you want to call him.
Yes.
I like KO because he's one of those guys, you know, even before the empty arena wrestling, but nobody really works the crowd in WWE anymore. You don't hear guys talking to the crowd and interacting with the crowd and getting them involved in the match.
Yeah.
You know, it goes the old, you know, they're not really, you know, they're not calling it in the ring. They probably had that played out for, you know, a couple days now.
Yeah.
They're probably working it over the weekend. They had some dark match somewhere.
Yeah.
You know, just to see how it was with the crowd.
Uh-huh.
But anyways, but KO likes to work the crowd, and that's what I like about KO. He likes to yell at the crowd. He likes to, you know, get in their face, talk smack. I like that about him. But that match, I really liked that match. I really did. And that was one of the, you know, talking about yelling at the TV. That was one of those ones where I was yelling at the TV, and not because of KO, but because of Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins can play a heck of a bad guy, dude.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's a lot of people talking smack right now and whatever. But Seth Rollins, he did exactly what he was supposed to do with that. And, you know, the whole thing there with the chair and the beat down.
Yeah.
And oh, yeah, dude. I'm like, oh, you bastard. You don't do that to KO.
I was when I watched that match, I was like that too. I'm like, son of a bitch. It's like freaking Rollins, man. Excuse me. I'm like, fucking Rollins, come on, man. KO, I love KO. Yeah, he does play to the crowd. Back when he first signed with NXT, when he first signed with the company, and he was in NXT, I went to plenty of NXT live shows here in Daytona, and I got to see over the years. I got to see Becky Lynch before she was Becky Lynch, Bayley, Charlotte, Sasha. Right. I got to see those group of people, and even Baron Corbin before, just this group of people that's like now, you know, big on TV, which are still there. They didn't get released, but watching them back in 2014, 2015, starting out there, and KO came to Daytona, and my nephew was with me, and we're sitting there, and he grabs me like, he's like, oh my God, it's Kevin Steen. I was like, hell yeah. He gets in the mic, gets in the ring there, and he starts cutting stuff, and people are booing him and stuff. This one guy stood up, and he's going like this, and he's like, yeah, you need to sit down. And he's like, you know, to the kid, and he's getting closer, and the security kind of gets in there, and he's like, you want to come in here? Come on in here. And he was like, he's hollering at him. He's like, I'll fuck you up, Kevin. It's just great, man. He played the crowd. He plays to the crowd. That's one thing I agree with you right there. That guy plays to the crowd, and that's one quality I love about Kevin Owens is he plays to the crowd, and you have to have that. And
yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know if you know who Rudy is. Rude Boy, Rudy Hill. He's a JCW guy, Juggalo Championship Wrestling. he's a deathmatch legend. But I interviewed him, and he believes that he's very old school, very old school, and he believes in a good guy and a bad guy. There's no it's cut and dry, right? The old school wrestling. Yeah. And when I interviewed him, one of the things that he said in the interview is that a lot of the guys nowadays are too busy working each other and not working the crowd.
Yeah.
That's quote unquote from him. And, and I really, after interviewing him, I watch that a lot now.
Yeah.
I do. And you notice the difference in a match. Seriously, you really do notice a match, especially like time-wise, when you got two guys that are trying to hit a bunch of spots and the match goes for 15 minutes and they're just hitting a bunch of spots that the crowd's not into. Whereas, another match where guys are actually working the crowd and playing off of what the crowd's doing.
Yeah.
It's two different experiences as far as a live experience is concerned. And even like on TV, if you're watching it on TV, it's a different experience too. Mm-hmm. And I would much rather watch two guys that are working the crowd, or two women, or a man and a woman, whatever, work the crowd rather than work each other.
Sure. I agree with you. I agree with you. I love the interaction with the crowd because they're there. You can feed off that crowd there.
And I love interacting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I said it the other day on my show. There's a guy here. His name's Tommy Vendetta. One of the young guys. He's only got like 2 years in the business, maybe even less than that. And I don't think there's another guy in the state of Michigan like him. I can't say outside because I'm not outside of here, but I can say that I don't think there is another guy in the state of Michigan that's like Tommy Vendetta. And I love when this guy comes out, and I love it. He comes out, and if he's playing a bad guy that show, me and this guy, we'll talk some trash back and forth, and I enjoy it. I love it. I live for it. And he knows it, and he'll find me in the crowd because it's fun, but I love talking trash, I love talking trash with the guys. It's good stuff. Shout out Tommy Vendetta too.
Nice. What is some of the, since we're talking about shows, what are some of the craziest shows you've ever been to that you've attended? Live wrestling shows. What's the one that sticks out the most that you're like, God dang, man, this was a great night and all this stuff happened and I got to witness it. What's some of the
I don't remember specifically what show it was, but I can tell you what happened. Okay. It was an XICW show. I don't know exactly what led to it, but there was a faction turn where at a previous show where this faction broke up and kicked out these two members and basically beat these two members up or whatever. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the show, these two members came out and basically kicked the living crap out of everybody. Everybody.
Damn.
And then not the fans, of course, but basically kicked the crap out of everybody. And then they got in the ring, and then they were like, "Show's over, time to go home, get out," yelling and then they were and it was like it was real, like they were like, "Go the home, leave." And it was all part of the show, but that one sits in my mind where I was like, was that real? What, did that just really happen? You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, oh my God, yeah. But there's another one. And again, it's an XICW show. A good friend of mine actually, weaponized Alex Weir. His whole family, matter of fact, his mom and dad are my instructors. They taught me Tung Sudo, and he's one of my instructors as well, and he's also an independent wrestler here in Michigan. And he's a master in Tung Sudo, mind you. But
nice.
There was a memorial show because the Lincoln Park Community Center in Lincoln Park, Michigan, is an historical place for wrestling in our state. The Sheik used to run shows there back during the old territory days. But anyways, XICW did a memorial show there in memory of the Sheik and Sweet Daddy Malcolm Monroe.
Yeah.
And weaponized Alex Weir jumped off, at least it had to have been 14, 15 feet in the air, and did some kind of dive thing. And oh my God. And his mom wanted to kill him. But, you know, I remember watching it. I go, his mom is going to kill him, you know, just like that. But, you know, that was one of those things, and watching him jump off stuff's now become kind of cool. So,
nice.
Because, well, him and DBA jumped off a U-Haul a couple nights later too. So,
oh man,
yeah, outside of the venue, it was cool.
Damn.
There's a lot of crazy stuff that happens up here. We got Horror Slam up here too, so we get a lot of deathmatch wrestling up here.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice.
Yeah. Horror Slam's ran by Briar Wellington, former Briar Wellington and Rachel, but Briar is a former Juggalo Championship Wrestling champion, you know, so he's very familiar with blood. And but Horror Slam, they bring in Schlack and Nick Effin Cage, and I mean, they bring on all these guys from GCW out of Pennsylvania too. They're running dual shows. They got they got Peter B. Beautiful. They got all these deathmatch wrestlers. You know, there's not only deathmatch wrestling, but they do have a lot of deathmatch wrestling. You know, shout out to the Horror Slam Tag Team Champions, Osmodius and the Dread King Logan.
Nice. I Deathmatch Wrestle podcast. He's on the Podcasting Network. David C. Russell. He lives up there, and he goes to CCW. He goes to CCW there, and he showed me some stuff there. He sent me some things. I'm like, damn,
that's
man.
Moxley territory.
Yeah, Moxley. Yeah, he's up in that area there, man. And then there's Matt Tremont running H2O.
Yep, Tremont. Tremont's been here a couple times. I watched him have a fork stuck in his forehead.
God dang, man.
Against Jeff King. I remember watching that one. That was at a Horror Slam show.
Yeah. That's
Madman Pondo was there that night too.
Yeah. He put a book out. He put a book out not too long ago, man, and that damn thing was selling like crazy on Amazon. You know?
Yeah.
That I was like, God dang, and I mentioned to someone that I wouldn't expect to, you know who he is, and is like Madman Pondo. Oh yeah, I know who he is. I'm like, really? I'm like, wow, man. I was like,
he's a legend in his own right, dude.
Yeah, he's. I didn't realize that. And even
JCW was huge, bro. JCW wrestling was huge. I mean, it still is.
Yeah.
The Juggalo. No, I mean, listen, I'm in Michigan, so you know Detroit, right? The Juggalos are they're up here, man.
Yeah.
You know, but you know they still have the what is that thing called? The Gathering, and it's like a whole weekend festival, and there's wrestling and concerts, and you know they bring out some legends, man, and you know there's Pondo still doing it. I just seen him not too long ago do some spots with some light tubes, man.
Damn,
dude's nuts.
Damn. Juggalo Championship Wrestling, run by the Insane Clown Posse, man. I used to be really, really big in the Insane Clown Posse once I got out of high school there, and kind of towards the end of my senior year of high school back in the late 90s. And I loved them, and I had the videos of the stuff with the Insane Clown Posse. That just, I love that stuff, man. I remember one time me and my cousin, we were sitting there like thumping out to Great Malenko, and he had his brother-in-law in the car, and we went somewhere. We were up in Cleveland, and we went to drop him off, and right before we dropped him off, my cousin was like, because he knew he only it's some good stuff here. And he clicked it on. Soon we pulled up in the driveway, the guy was like tuck and roll, getting the hell out of the car. It's like we're laughing. We're like, ha ha ha. Just freaking loved it, man. And it's like, yeah, you listen to some good shit, man. You're listening to some really good shit. I really enjoy what Insane Clown Posse does and stuff, and I laugh every once in a while when I run across someone that first discovers them, and they act like it's like the newest thing there is, and I say to myself, I was
oh
like,
my God.
yeah, it's like, no, they've been around for a long time.
Oh
man.
yeah, man. Oh yeah.
You don't know what you just stepped in, and
oh man.
when I looked at
20 years ago.
yeah.
20, 30 years ago now, man. It's been a long time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they've been around a long time. I remember this when I lived in Ohio during that time, during my last during the late 90s, I lived in Ohio from 95 early 1995 to 99. I lived there.
Sorry.
Oh, why are you sorry?
I'm in Michigan, bro. You don't know about Michigan, Ohio?
Oh, yes, I do. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I got a funny. I got a story. I got a story. I got a story on that right there. But there's a store right in town there, and they sold Faygo, and they sold it cheap. And believe me, I stocked up on Faygo in the house, man. I had 2 liters of Faygo. I had 12 packs of Faygo. I had different flavors of it and stuff, man. I loved it. I was like, this shit is really good. And it was funny because at that time, my parents, my mom and stepdad's like, well, we gotta try to save some money on some stuff. And I was like, yeah, okay. I'll help you. I'll start buying Faygo. And for like 2 years, for about a year, 2 years, man, just all I drank was Faygo. And that's basically all I was drinking and stuff. My mom be like, I'm going to the store. What do you want? Give me a 12-pack of Faygo. What kind of Faygo? I don't care. Just bring it home to me. I'll drink it. I don't care because it's all good. But
that's another Michigan staple, man. That's for sure.
Yeah. But Ohio, the Buckeyes, and Michigan Wolverines. I had a friend who went across the country. He took off across the country to California to drop a friend off to get some kind of surgery, and the doctor that did the surgery was out in California. So my my friend decided, well, you know what, I'm going to go see the country. I'm going to go see Grand Canyons a long way, Texas, all this stuff to get him there. So he gets a car. So he leaves Ohio, stops in Michigan. He stops at some store, and he goes in asking the guy, he's like, hey, I need to get some change. And the guy was hollering at him and saying, no. And he's like, dude, all I need is change for 20. And the guy going on and on and stuff. And so he kind of pissed off my friend. So my friend got up, and my friend Mike, this guy was like 6'5". This guy was huge, man. And he leaned on the counter, and he goes, and he looked, and he said, he looked back behind the guy, and he had all this Michigan State stuff. And so he said, just to piss him off, he says, hey, okay, I got to buy something. He goes, I'm looking for some Buckeye stuff. You got any Buckeye stuff? Go Buckeyes. He said that guy threw him out of the store, throwing stuff at his ass just because he knew it.
Yeah.
He knew it.
Well, it's a big thing up here. Yeah. I mean, we take it pretty serious, but they take it even more serious down there. We don't even say Ohio. We just say down there.
Down there. I'll tell you, when I moved to Tennessee, it reminded me of the rivalry Tennessee, the Volunteers and Florida Gators. That reminded me of Michigan and Ohio, man. I was like, you got that. You got that 2-state rivalry. Wherever you're at, I'm sure people experience that, man. I'm sure they experience that. And I went to high school with this one guy who ended up playing for Ohio State for basketball. He ended up playing, I forgot his name, but
he's made bad choices in his life.
He made bad choices. Well, he got into Ohio State, and he got to play basketball because his dad was not only a history teacher at the high school I went to, but he was the basketball coach.
Oh well, it works.
Yeah, there you go. there you go. There you go. It's like, yeah, my dad's coach. Okay.
Who would have thought? You know, $18 million makes you essential now too. So hey, got to get him in there when I can. I'm sorry.
I enjoy the post I see up on your feed there. I like that when you talk about earlier Call of Duty. It's like, I'm playing Call of Duty. Here's my gamer tag. Who wants to shoot some people with me? I love that.
That's right. I love that's what I do. I just like shooting at people, man. It's really what you're doing. I mean,
I have a PS4 right behind me there. One night I turned it on, and that thing all of a sudden it shot out my Destiny 2 disc. I was like, what? So I put it back in, and come to find out it was a little glitch that you could easily fix. Yeah, you gotta unplug it, plug it back in, and hold down the buttons, and it fixes it. It happens. The farthest I got with it was I just unplugged it, and it's been unplugged for about 3 months.
Dang.
I've not gotten back on there. The games I would play would be Destiny 2 and Grand Theft Auto online. Grand Theft Auto. I'm a Grand Theft Auto fan. I love that franchise, man. I've been playing it for years since GTA 3. I played the shit out of that. Vice City was my favorite, and San Andreas. But
everybody had San Andreas. If you didn't have San Andreas, you were a freaking loser.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, straight up, man. Let's be honest, right? But I mean, I've been a Call of Duty guy since Xbox. I was originally, I started out on the PS1, went to PS2. I started out playing first-person shooters on SOCOM 2 on the PS2.
That good
and
game.
Then I went. Yeah, and then I went. I don't know what happened. Somewhere along the line, I bought an Xbox 360. Became an avid 360 gamer for a while. They screwed me, Microsoft, and then I said screw that, and I bought a PS4, and I've been on PS4 ever since. But I don't play as much as you would think some people would. But I mean, I've played a lot more lately, obviously.
Yeah.
But I'm really good friends with the Dread King Logan here, who's a wrestler in the independent scene here. And him and I play every once in a while online. And then there's a couple other guys that I know that we play online with. But, you know, that's really the only game I've been playing lately. It's Call of Duty.
Call of Duty.
That's right.
I still got my PS2. I still have my PS3. And
Dang.
And I still got a lot of good games for my PS2, and I still got some PS1 games around. That's what I liked about the PS2 was the backward capability with it. And there's one game I loved to play back in the day that I've not found yet. I've been searching here and there, high and low for it.
Which one's that?
Road Rash 3D. Rash 3D. I love that, man. I loved it how when you're riding and the cops come up to you and they're like click, 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 and you're like, you know, you wham, wham, and you knock them off and you get them like with the oncoming traffic and they hit and they're like flipping in the air and stuff and they're like, I love that shit, man. I love that. Road Rash was just a great game.
I'm more of a retro guy. I play a lot of the old NES, SNES games. I have a retro NES, which is like not a retro. It's a knockoff Chinese NES thing that I can play NES games on. But then we also have NES, and we have an SNES, and we have a Nintendo 64. We have a Sega Genesis. You know, we play them all, and we have stacks of games that we play. But my most favorite retro game probably of all time would be Mario 64 for the Nintendo 64.
Oh god, I love that.
I was obsessed with that game. Like I had the Nintendo Power magazine that told you where every single star was and like every little thing you could do to beat the game. And like I used to play that game all the time.
Damn.
Yeah, back in the day, but not so much anymore. But
yeah. What I loved about when the PlayStation 1 was WWF Attitude, WWF Warzone. Remember those for the PlayStation 1, man? You create it was the first time you create a wrestler that you can do any, like, whatever is available to make these crazy wrestlers. That's one of the things I loved doing, was creating the crazy wrestlers. And even with the 2K games with the wrestling.
Yeah, well, I bought 2K19, and I hadn't played a wrestling game since, I don't know, NES WrestleMania, probably. I don't know. And I put on 2K19, and I'm like, what in the fuck is this? Like, I literally, I don't know what I'm doing. I just feel like I'm button smashing. And I mean, let's be honest. The reason why I really bought 2K19 was for the Ric Flair pop, okay? And the piece of Ric Flair's robe, okay? So there's that. That's the only reason why I really bought it, was because I wanted that pop. But, hey, it is what it is.
Yeah. 2K20, so many bugs. I know you probably seen all the stories and everything.
Yeah.
Right there. It's just DOA, man. And it was funny because when they were pushing out the DLC content for WWE 2K20, a lot of people are like, oh, that's great. When are you going to fix the bugs? When are you going to fix the bugs, man? We don't care about the DLC. Yeah. We want the game fixed. And
nobody's going to buy the DLC if they can't play the game the way they want to, you dummies.
Yeah, exactly. And then...
Gee, you must have a problem listening to people. Oh, my bad, sorry.
Then they announced 2K21 is canceled, so I'm not worried about that. I'm not worried.
Well, I mean, dude, they just cleared out a whole slew of people. I think what someone was saying, they cleared out like a couple $1 million in payroll.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. That is crazy. They
hey, on a positive note, Hurricane Shane Helms can take bookings on indies now. You know, because they let him go because he was a producer.
Yeah. You just open yourself up for something here. I gotta say it. What's up with that? I'm sorry. I love that.
No,
I love that, man.
You're good.
I love that. They probably said that would have been funny if when they said, "Hey, we gotta let you go." What's up with that?
Yeah. They even let go Lance Storm, man.
Yeah, they let go a lot of people, man. That was, and I'm not shocked by it. I'm not shocked by it. A lot of people were butthurt over that, for the fact that oh yeah, it's like, oh my God, they let all these people go, and then people were like, okay, yeah, it is what it is, and then people are like just butthurt over it, and people are like,
it's gonna happen.
Someone brought up a good point, and that person is he's in the chat right now. I want to give a shout out to Robin Nelson from Wrestle Popcast. And
what up, dude?
And how you doing there, Thump? Thank you for jumping in here and joining. And then Larry Delks watching from Iowa. Nice.
What up, brother?
Nice, and thank you for liking just now the Everett Lee Show on Facebook. Thank you so much. But Robin Nelson put a post out there, Cody, and said, "Hey, if you remember this," and I remember this when he brought it to my attention because it's so long ago, you forget stuff.
Yeah, well, it's because we're old.
Yeah, we're old, and the early '90s. They let a bunch of people go, like Honky Tonk, Junkyard Dog, all these people go, and then even in the late '80s, early '90s, they let all this talent go at the same time. Same thing, and they did the same thing now. And then with times, it's just people just positive, negative. Oh my God, I can't believe you do that, but. I did hear something a while back ago that someone said the mood right now with this pandemic going on, I wouldn't be surprised if they let some people go. So I forgot who said that. It's out there. They said that, and then all of a sudden, bam, they're not making no money. You know, I'm not
They
surprised.
were losing money before anyways. They were losing money before the pandemic.
Yeah.
He's seeing this coming. I mean, come on. I mean, it's basic economics, bro. I mean, think about it. It's like when you're full, right? And you're losing money, you got to trim the fat, right? So we got to trim some fat so that we can become profitable again. They got to be able to show profit. I mean, it's not that they're not. I mean, they got big money coming from the networks, but you know, when it's not owned, it's not just Vince that you got to answer to anymore. There's a board of directors, there's investors, there's, you know, it's not just Vince's greediness, it's a bunch of people's greediness.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you know, but it's wrestling, dude. There's again, we go back to that question you asked about the state of wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
There's wrestling everywhere. There may be a couple people out of that's released that's not going to get back to work, right? Not in wrestling anyways, but you know, a couple of those people are going to be all right. You know, you got AEW, M.I.W, Impact, New Japan. I mean, there's not short on places to go right now. It's not like it was when it was just WWE. Now there's AEW, M.I.W, Impact. I mean, how many more we can go on for? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. NWA. Let's not leave them out. We forgot about them. NWA. You know, come on. They're back.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Thumper Chapman in the chat says WWE just got where they are. Sucks so bad that they're losing money. But yeah, I definitely agree right there. Thumper's old school, man. He tells it like it is. This guy will tell you like it is. No bullshit. But I agree with him right there.
Old school people are though. A lot of the old school, when you know, I've noticed there's a lot of old school fans and the people that are into the old school. That's the way they are. You know what I'm saying? And no offense to homeboy there. You know, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. They got to where they were at. I mean, XFL was launching that, so there was some positive feedback on that.
I think that was just a matter of circumstance there. Let's be perfectly honest. I don't think they intended to go bankrupt. I think this pandemic put them in that situation.
Exactly. It's just because there was a lot of feedback. I watched an XFL game. I loved it. I was sitting there. I was over at Chris Carnage house, and he turned it on, and he's like, "Hey, you want to watch XFL?" I was like, "Yeah, man. I haven't watched XFL in 20 years." I said, "Yeah." So sat down and watched it, and I was like, "Wow, this is really good. I'm enjoying this." Sitting there just chilling out with my best friend, having a beer, watching XFL, watching this football.
Right.
Loved it, and then all of a sudden, boom, this happened, and then Dad, it wasn't their choice.
Right. I think it was just a victim of circumstance. You know, it was the pandemic hit, and they had to cancel the season. They had to cancel before they even got started. You know, and when you think. I mean, I'm sure Vince could have came up with some funds and did this and did that, but I think that in the end of the day, when the work that he put into the money and everything that they put in to make it happen, it just wasn't worth it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because now everything else is happening now, and if I'm not mistaken, isn't the McMahons under investigation for some trading things going on?
Yeah.
So I mean, there's probably that too. There's this. You know. I'm sure there's a few things that led to it, more than just one. But I'm pretty sure that we're gonna find some dirty things out real soon.
Yeah. Yeah.
The dirty laundry is gonna come out. I mean, then you got this $18 million super PAC that Linda paid off the dude down there in Florida so that we can have essential business now down there. Florida wrestling's essential.
Yeah, the first time when I first heard that, you know what the first thought went through my head with that? I was like, Vince called Donald. You know they're buddies.
Yeah.
You know buddies.
Oh, yeah.
You know that conversation.
The good old boys.
Yeah, you like be in the room for that conversation. Hey, Donald, they keep coming to the performance center. Call off the cops. You know, Vince, you got it. You know, called DeSantos down there, Governor DeSantos. DeSantos, call off the cops. You know, and then you know. There you go. Done. So I was like, okay, all right, that solved that there. And then when the thing went Linda McMahon, I was like, oh shit. I said the pot the plot has digging deeper, and a lot of stuff's going to come out, and everyone's going to be jumping all over this when all this information starts coming out about this or that, this or that.
Yeah.
Me, I'm going to sit back and be like, okay. Hey, what independent? What's going on independent wrestling now?
Yeah.
You know, that's it. I'm not going to sit there and blast it all over the internet and go over, you know, on Twitter and engage with the Twitter trolls about it, because there's no point.
No, I agree.
Yeah, there's no point in it. It's just
and there's really not. I mean, you could argue till your face is blue or till nobody, you know, it ain't gonna matter. At the end of the day, is it really gonna matter? No. Yeah, but I who was it? Trey Jacobs. I don't know if you know Trey Jacobs. I know Robin does.
Yeah.
I know Mr. Nelson does, but Trey Jacobs, he's wrestled down there for Future Great Wrestling down there in Ohio. Cody Hawk and those guys. And Trey Jacobs, I think Trey Jacobs said it best. I mean, you know, there's everything for everybody, and there's no reason for you to be upset right now as a fan.
Yeah.
If you're upset, it's not the wrestling business, it's you. There's something wrong with you, you know. You may not like something, I get that. You know what I'm saying? You might not agree with something, and you have every right to your opinion and to voice said opinion and so on and so forth. But you don't have a right to be an asshole.
Yeah.
Don't be an asshole.
I agree with you right there. There. During this pandemic, whatever the hell. Someone said I was called. How the hell do you say that word? Because people told me. How do you say it?
Pandemic.
I'm saying pandemic.
Yeah.
during this shit hit the bed type deal, I'll just say that. During this shit type, you know what I'm talking about. I don't even forgot what I was gonna say. God dang it.
That's what happens when you talk a lot, right, man? That's your business. You're the talking guy. I'm the talking guy too. I know how it is.
you lose train of thought, because when you're having a good time, man. You just let it go, man.
Yeah, well, time flies for sure.
Yeah. But during everything that's going on right now, you should just enjoy what's out there. Enjoy the content that you can get a hold of. Enjoy watching that. And enjoying the fact that we're gonna get through this. I quit watching the news. I turned off the Big Four in my house.
Yeah,
I did
that a long time ago.
Yeah, I turned off NBC, ABC, NBC, Fox. I said, "Fuck you guys! I'm not listening to you," because they're not reporting anything that's going to benefit my need. Instead of if I want to hear about cases and death and shortages on face mask, then I'll turn on to them. But other than that, I'm going to go on the internet. I'm going to go and research, check out different things, and find out my own type story there. Because one of the things that I will say this, they've not reported, no one's reporting, is that we're already over 500,000 recoveries worldwide. 500,000. That's half. We're getting there. We're getting there, and it's slowly, one day by day. We're gonna beat this damn thing. We're gonna get back to our lives. We're gonna go back to pro wrestling, watch a pro wrestling event, and that's what's gonna happen. We're definitely gonna do that right there. We're gonna.
Yeah, well, you know, some things may change slightly, but I mean, it ain't gonna be like, you know, it ain't like the whole world's ending tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know? We will be okay. We will make it through it. That's for sure. Wrestling will come back, and we're going to get to yell at people very soon.
Yeah, we will. we definitely will be able to get back to doing what we do best, and that's all it's going to take. Okay, whatever you say there, buddy. Yeah, I got someone with an opinion on right here on Twitch. There you go. Boom. There. On the chats, I am God. You're banned. Delete. So anyway, yeah, got a little 12-year-old come on there. He had to say some shit right here on Twitch, so I got rid of him. So you're done, boy.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Take your hate and take your small junk and get out of my chat. Thank you.
Yikes.
Yeah. So,
Damn, it was that bad, huh?
Yeah, he was. He was just blabbing around, and then what got me was wrestling is fake and gay. Okay.
Oh,
You're gone. You're gone. He started going wrestling is fake and gay. Okay, you're banned. Get the fuck out of my chat.
Bye-bye now.
Yeah.
Have a nice day.
Yeah, this is why I we're getting off of Twitch because of stuff like that, and it's just Podcast Network Twitch is going to be a little bit inactive here. Yeah, of course.
Twitch is a good spot. I mean, it's you have to have a certain type of viewer for that. You know what I mean? Like, because it's a content-driven thing, right? So podcast isn't really where it's at, on Twitch as far as that goes. I mean, I run on Twitch, but it's not really. I don't really do I don't even look at the chat, bro. I don't even bother. I just go, and I take my basic thing is come to YouTube, r2youtube.com. That's what I tell them. Come to YouTube.
Yeah. Twitch. It's like we were talking about that before we went live tonight. It's just it's hard. It's hard to pull it off, man. You gotta. It's mostly towards gamers. It's mostly,
it is. And I mean, there's been organizations like Tommy Dreamer's what's that, hardcore or
House of Hardcore.
House of Hardcore, that's
it.
They've streamed on Twitch. When Wrestle Circus was around, they streamed on Twitch. AAA, they've streamed on Twitch. They still do. Lucha Libre, AAA. Progress Wrestling used to stream on Twitch. They don't anymore. I don't know what happened there. But Wrestle Circus isn't around anymore, and I haven't seen anything of House of Hardcore in forever.
Yeah, I've seen Tommy Dreamer come on, and he's just sitting there just talking, and there's really nothing he's really been putting out there. I mean, I don't know what else he's been doing, but Impact wasn't on Twitch there for a while, and I'm sitting here, Cody. I'm laughing at the response in the chat here. You gotta. Robin Nelson says that. He said that wasn't him. Indie wrestling's on fire. Thumper says so true, and WWE Thumper says WWE needs to let AEW just handle everything. And Robin says they are talking about the bad stuff on the virus and not the good stories of people getting better, which is right. I definitely agree with that. He says this is not the zombie apocalypse. And
no,
the little bastard that was in the chat there, Robin said little bastard, and Thumper says spank his ass to send him home. And he says step in the ring, I will slap him around. Yeah, he would.
That's great. Yeah.
And Robin says to Thumper, I'd pay to see that. And of course, Thumper, I hate kids. He's not serious when he says that. I don't know, man. And he said I would not be the first one. Would not be the first one I slap around and ask if it felt real.
Oh Lord!
I will quote you. That is a fact. So let me let you know there. Yeah, but
he says he loved Wrestle Circus, huh? Robin did. He said he liked Wrestle Circus.
Yeah.
I watched a lot of their stuff on Twitch when they were running on Twitch there for a while. I was really disappointed when they weren't able to come back. I don't know. I'm not out in Texas, and I'm not really familiar. I guess if we talk to Rudy out there, I'm sure he could tell us. But I don't really know what happened. But it was a great promotion. They did this thing around one of the events that they did. It was like $30, and they'd send you some of their posters, and I got like 3 or 4 of their event posters, and some of them are signed by a couple guys. Guevara's on one of them, Sammy Callahan's on another. There's a couple of the Chris brothers, something like that. But yeah, dude, I really enjoyed Wrestle Circus, but I don't know what happened to them, dude.
Yeah,
they just took off.
I went on the wrestling channel there, and I was watching, what was it, AAA Luchador Wrestling on there, and I didn't know what the commentary was saying though, but hell, I was enjoying the match there, man. I mean, they were going back and forth. The commentary was on fire, but I don't know what the hell they were saying. They were fired up, man, but it made me excited. I'm sitting there, I'm like, I don't know what the hell you're saying though, but hell yeah, we got some Luchador.
Have you ever listened to the Japanese announcers for New Japan?
Oh, not really. Why?
Yeah, because it's hilarious. Because they're like, you're like, whoa! It's pretty cool, dude. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Like, if you ever watched any anime, and like if you try to watch it where it's dubbed in American or in English,
yeah,
compared, and then you like do a comparison, and like it's way more like you don't understand what the fuck they're saying when it's in Japanese, but it's way intense. You're like, oh my god, like you feel it. You're like, oh. But with dubbed, it's not, so you don't feel it like that. I don't know. It's the Japanese language, I think, man.
Yeah,
it is what it is, but it's good stuff.
That's amazing, man. I love that. I'm cracking up in the chat here, Cody, man. I'm reading the interaction right here between Robin and Thumper. 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 Robin says to Thumper, "You can spank me, LOL." And Thumper says, "Sorry, I'm not. Sorry, I'm hot, but I'm married."
Oh Lord.
He said to you, Robin said to you there, Cody. He said, He wrestled over there. That's what he said. Thumper says, "I have a wife that spanks me, and I like it. LOL." Sure, chat's getting nasty, man. Oh man, good times. But
yeah. I enjoy a lot of the indie wrestling going on. I wish I was talking to Cody Hawk and Sean and those guys down there where Robin's at. I don't know if he's right where those guys are at, but I know he's in the general vicinity. Yeah, he's in the general vicinity. I know that for sure. He's Future Greats guy. And so I was talking to Cody. Cody's been up here a few times. He's part of the 5MW, and he's been up here to Port Huron, which is where Blue Water runs out of, and which is the town over. And me and the guys, we want to get down there. We want to get down to Hamilton, and we want to go to one of these Friday night shows. Yes. It's just it's just the plan. It's getting the planning set up, because for us, it's going to be like a 5-6 hour drive from where we're at to go down there to watch wrestling, which we're more than happy to do. We're just going to have to stay overnight. So there is a plan in the works. Once this COVID crap's done, we can get on the up and up and get our plans worked out. We also want to take a trip up north there to the Mr. Chainsaw Pro Wrestling and check out what they got going up there in the upper part of the mitten.
Yeah, that's amazing. Future Great Wrestling, I've been trying to catch up on it there. That is one promotion. I sat there and I said, what am I going to watch? So I went back and I started with episode 1 of Future Great Wrestling. I'm on episode 3, so I'm catching up with it just to go back and watch it, just to have something to watch with the entertainment, because like I said, I'm slowly getting away from WWE. I said to myself, and I said to my friends the other day, I said, I got a confession to make. And they're like, oh no, what is it? And I said, I've not watched Raw and SmackDown in 2 months. And they're like, what? They're like, okay, yeah. And one of my friends said, well, join the club. He said, I only watch pay-per-views. And I said, I may keep up with the pay-per-views and just watch those time to time, depending on what they are. And I may just stick to that and
well, you'd be watching a whole lot more WWE than I do.
I may just go. I could trim it down. Check this out. I may trim it down to the Big Four, and just watch the Big Four every year. You know, I may just.
I miss those days though, man. That's like again, we talked about this a little bit ago, where it might be too much.
Mm-hmm.
Again, WWE case in point.
Yeah.
How many pay-per-views is too much? Remember when they were running almost 2 a month, and it was way too much.
God dang.
Now it's back down to about 1 a month, and even still, I still think that's too much. The Big Four, and that's really all you need, man.
Yeah.
Build to the big stuff. Build to the big stuff.
Yeah.
Make the WrestleMania the Super Bowl that it should. You know,
Mm-hmm.
This 2-day crap's got to go too. Get rid of that crap right now. Go. See ya.
Yeah, they should build their biggest story, but their money machine. They're not now. I mean, but
yeah. Well, this is another conversation. You know, let's be perfect. I've said this 100 million times. WWE isn't catering to the hardcore fans like you and I or Robin or anybody like that. They don't give a shit about us. And I mean, and I don't mean that because they know we're not going to make them money. Let's be perfectly honest. We're not going to buy into their shit. So they're not going to cater to us. They're not going to. Who are they catering to? They're catering to those kids and their moms and their dads that are paying hand over fist for them to go to a Raw or a SmackDown or a pay-per-view or to buy them a T-shirt or to watch the big show on Netflix or watch whatever it is. That's who they're catering to. They don't give a shit about us. There's still people that like us that will watch WWE, but they don't care. It's where the money is. Those kids are paying all that money.
Yeah. Those kids. I definitely agree with you. Yeah, those kids definitely paying that money. Someone put out a tweet a while back ago and said, "Hey, you pay all this money to go watch WWE. You pay for the seats. You pay a crazy price for the seats. You pay for their merchandise, which is crazy, and you spend all this big money on that. But then when you go if you do go to an independent wrestling show, you complain about the price of the show, and then you complain about the price of the merchandise. It's like, come on now." It's like you're hypocritical there. And I agree with it. Because the independent wrestling scene and independent wrestlers, they put on a hell of a show, or even better than the big WWE machine. They do. Mm-hmm. They do. And that money, that's how they make a living. And a lot of people don't realize that. It's you buy merchandise, a shirt or something from them, you're helping them because you're helping them. And coming to the show, buying a ticket and enjoying it, it's even better. It's even better. So I love the energy of that. I went to a show back 3 months ago. I went to one of the local shows here. It's just like 10 minutes from my house. There was about 20 of us in the crowd, and me and my friends, we sat there in front row seat, and there's about 20 of us there, or probably not even 20. They put on one hell of a show, like there was about 50 or 100 or like 100. And we heckled them and stuff, and sometimes when we were heckling them, just having a good time cutting up, you could see that when they were cutting a promo at someone, when we'd be right there heckling, they'd be like almost break and start laughing, but try not to because we were carrying on, having a good time, having a good time, man.
Yeah, that's one of the things about the independent show, man. It's amazing stuff. You're gonna have a great time, and let's be honest. Not every independent promotion is great. I mean, there are going to be, there's going to be promotions that there are going to be some renegades that you're going to run into, some freaking yarders out there. It's pay your money if you go, and if it is a yarder, leave and don't go back. Don't go back to that crap. But if you find a genuine company, like Future Grade or XI or Border City or whoever, you know what I'm saying, Metro Pro, Horseland, I can just keep going and going and going and going. But if you find a legit promotion, and you pay for XICW, for instance. I know a front row ticket to XICW at Hot Rocks in Warren, Michigan is $15. That's for a front row ticket. That's guaranteed front row, right? For $15, and especially if you're sitting on the bar side, man, you're getting your money's worth. That's a little inside information, okay? But and then you got with XI when they run it at Hot Rocks, they got VIP booths that you get. They got 3-person VIP booths, 6-person VIP booths, and every VIP booth comes with a pizza and a pitcher of pop. Dude,
Damn.
and you can get a pitcher of beer. If you want, instead of pop, you want beer, you can get that. But how can you beat that, dude? $15.
Damn.
Me and my guys, we get 2 3-person tables, and it works out to $15 a piece, basically, when we do 6 people, and that's how we do it. And dude, it's best seat in the house, best promotion in the state. You can't, man. I can't say enough about XICW. I absolutely love that promotion. Well, I can't remember the exact day that they issued the stay-at-home order.
Yeah.
Where they shut down no more than 50 people or whatever it was, or what have you. XI ran a show the day before that, literally the day before, and they didn't. Everybody else canceled except for XICW. Man, we went, dude. I had a blast, dude. We were even cheering "fuck coronavirus." So it was good.
That's it. That's an
XICW show. If there would have not been a chant for "fuck the coronavirus," I would have been disappointed.
Nice. I love that. I've had a good time talking with you here. I mean, tonight's been awesome. I mean, the chat's on fire. I want to give a shout out to Robin Nelson, Wrestle Popcast, joining in.
Woo-hoo, Robin, what's happening, brother?
Thumper Chapman, straight shooter, don't give a damn, and you don't like what he says, he'll throw you in a ring and he'll show you how real it gets. Shout out to him. And this has been great, man. This has gone a little bit longer than what I expected, though, but this is great conversation.
I told you I could talk, brother.
Me too, man. This is what happens. This is what happens when you get 2 guys that have a really great show and really great podcast. You get them in the same room. Thank you. This is what happens. You're welcome. This is what happens, man. And this is why I love what I do and love talking with the people that I do and love getting other people on with great shows and having them promote their show to use my platform. And I love it. And
well, thank you. I appreciate that, man.
You're welcome. And with M.I.W. Rasslin Rage, 2 more things I want to ask you before we end this here. What upcoming content do you have kind of planned that you can talk about or discuss that people should be looking forward to with M.I.W. Rasslin Rage?
Well, as always, Rasslin Rage is live every Sunday at 8 p.m. So this week on Rasslin Rage, for our live show on r2youtube.com, we're going to be talking about our most memorable moments in Michigan indie wrestling. Now, that doesn't mean that it's not like the end-all list of like the grandiose, like we're the end of all, like we know everything, but it's our most memorable moments, the things that we hold close to our hearts and things that we've experienced through some of the Michigan independents here in the state. And that'll be this Sunday. And then Tuesday, will be Michigan Independent Weekly. We do that show every week, Tuesday, 10 a.m. It comes out on r2youtube.com. But, I'm not exactly sure what we're going to be doing for that episode, but, that's every Tuesday. And then I know there's lots of talk going on, and I've been talking with them, and we're trying to work out a day, but there's some news going around the state of Michigan right now that once we come out of this COVID-19 crazy stuff, that some promoters are going to get together and run a multiple promotion show. And one of those promoters wants to come on Rasslin Rage or M.I.W, whatever just happens to be, and wants to tell us all about it. I'm not going to say who that is just yet, but that is coming within the next week. Good stuff. And then I always throw matches out there on Fridays. I got so many independent wrestling matches on my hard drive from Michigan specifically. It's insane. So I put, one out every so often, and I try my best to put some out that are guys that you don't normally see, because like Suplex Shogun you're going to see a lot of, because he's Impact Wrestling now, or guys that necessarily have big title belts. So maybe guys that aren't getting a lot of exposure. I like to try to put those matches out so people can see those guys.
Nice.
So, but yeah, those are on Fridays. You can catch those again on r2youtube.com.
Nice. And where can people find more of M.I.W Rasslin Rage at on social media?
Oh boy, are you ready? Because this is going to take a while.
Well, I got a graphic I took from your profile on Facebook. I'll throw up on here, and I'll let you go ahead and plug away. So,
right. Okay. So
go ahead.
Obviously there's me, right? You can follow me if you want. I mean, I'm not that cool, but I mean, you can search. I'm more on Facebook than anything personal wise, but Cody Fleming on Facebook. But for Rasslin Rage is on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and TikTok now, because everybody's TikToking, I guess. But that's all at Rasslin Rage. Real simple, right? And then you can also find M.I.W. We have a page and a group on Facebook. For M.I.W, the page, it's at M.I.W, D-U-B-B, right? So M.I.W, all right? And then just search Michigan Independent Weekly. You can find the group. And on the group, that's where we post everything, man. I mean, we post any promos, matches, anything that's going on in the state of Michigan. It's in that group. We got wrestlers that are from Michigan that are coming in there and posting their stuff. We got, we're posting stuff. We're posting content. We got tag teams. We got singles guys. We got the House of Truth Wrestling Schools posting their stuff in there. The Mysterious Movado. All kinds of great content in there for people that are, interested in wrestling and maybe just independent wrestling, and they want to see what's out there in the other state. That's a group for you, because we're on there every day, all day long, man. However, we keep it to Michigan. We don't, we're not put Florida stuff in there. It's Michigan. It's all Michigan. With all Michigan organization, all Michigan workers. But, and then lastly, YouTube, man. r2youtube.com. The letter R, the number 2, youtube.com, man. And, click the subscribe, click the bell, follow, come hang out on Sunday and talk smack to us, do whatever. I don't care if you like us or not. It don't matter. Just come listen, tell us to F off. I don't care. Oh, that graphic. Oh, yeah, that's my trading card.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
man.
I love that. So, I mean, that right there just...
That's easy, ain't it?
Yeah, that's easy. I love that.
There's guys in the state that like as far as talent goes, workers guys that have these cards, and they're selling them. I'm giving them away for free as marketing. You know what I'm saying? Hey man, here you go. You know what I mean? Whatever.
Yeah.
But that was one of the best investments I made right there. I
love that. Love that. That's what stuck out, because I was trying to look at some stuff and I found that. I said, hell yeah, I'm going to use that tonight. So that's why I stuck it up there. But it's great right there. I mean, it has your YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and in your Twitch on there. So
yeah, you notice I didn't plug Twitch. I was like, whatever.
Yeah, I know, man.
Rasslin Rage too. If you want that, you can check that out too. I don't care.
And before I do close, I do want to mention that again, the face mask right here that I was wearing at the top of the program tonight, that's on Facebook. Search out T&D Company. Search them out and join that group right there. And they are making a wide variety of these face masks right now at $5 a pop. And you can see I got stocked up right here. with the face mask, go ahead and hit up T&D Company and give them a call at 386-882-8705 and make arrangements to get an order in on these high durable face masks right here by T&D Company. And tomorrow night on the Everett Lee Show, when me and my guest co-host Chris Carnage will join me to interview Dalton Berdetti from the Movie Nights podcast on Podcast Scene Network. We have an announcement about the face mask, so you got to watch because you may walk away with a free face mask. So tune in tomorrow night for more details on that. But net for the latest Everett Lee Show final score and Wrestle Popcast, Deathmatch Wrestle Podcast, and much more over on podcastscene.net. Follow them on Facebook, Podcast Scene Network, and send them a tweet over on Twitter at Podcast Scene Net. Subscribe to the YouTube channel for video podcast over on Podcast Scene Network YouTube, and subscribe and follow on Twitch. Everett Lee Show. You want more Everett Lee? You can follow me on Facebook. Hit that thumbs up on the Everett Lee Show page. Send me a tweet over on Twitter at the Everett _Lee. Instagram, Everett Lee Show. Audio portion of this podcast and previous release podcast, head over to Everett Lee Show YouTube page, Everett Lee Show, Stitcher Radio, iTunes, Podbeam, and iHeartRadio. And one last announcement. Final score. Their Sports Movie Madness voting for round 2 closes at midnight tonight. So be sure to head over to podcastscene.net and vote for the second round on their Sports Movie Madness, because it's going to close at midnight, and that is that. But Cody Fleming, Rasslin Rage, thank you so much for coming on the show tonight.
Thanks for having me, bro. Now we got to get you on my show, bro.
Yes, definitely. I'd love to get on your show there and talk some wrestling, but it's gonna be amazing. I know it's gonna be some great talk, man. It's gonna be some great talk, and we'll talk after we get off here. We'll definitely talk. But viewers, listeners, thank you so much for listening to Everett Lee Show. I am out of here, and I will see you again next time for another episode of the Everett Lee Show.